entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
It's now time for Connecting Caregivers with author, speaker, caregiver advocate, and talk show host Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for caregivers.
All the caregivers around the world today, it's time to lift you up. It's time to celebrate. Good afternoon, and welcome to Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned, because you know I got a lot of that stuff.
You do.
And with me, as always, and I'm so glad you're back in the studio, is my best friend, my co-host, and my sidekick, not psychic, Lynn Thornley.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
You're so damn festive today.
I know. I look cute.
I like that little hat and that. When I went to pick her up at her house to come here, she was like a little elf standing out in front of her house.
Absolutely.
I'm like, you're just sassy.
And we got good COVID news. The new Moderna.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
coming.
hoping, I'm praying, and it gives us some hope. It gives us something to look forward to. Well, as always on the boards, we have Bobby, the most fabulous Bobby.
Hello, happy Saturday. I'm Merry Almost Christmas.
Merry almost Christmas.
Oh, we won't see you before Christmas.
That's true.
Oh my God. All right. Kisses, Christmas hugs when we leave.
From a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay here behind the glass.
There you go.
Okay, that's good, Bobby. And today we have with us Jessica Derkis from Freedom Square. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we also have Dan Wendol from Dolphin Financial.
How's everyone doing today?
Great. So glad to be here today. So glad to have guests in the studio. Unfortunately, Teresa Wilbanks, she's a caregiver advocate also. She has a website called Sustainable Caregiving, and she was also be on the show today, but her dad passed away 2 days ago. So we send our condolences out to you, Teresa, and to every caregiver that has gone through this or is going through this right now.
It's hard enough, but at this time of year, it's just a little bit harder.
Oh, what did we do yesterday?
Yesterday, we put your husband's, half of his
ashes in the cemetery.
And then we drank an awful lot of wine afterwards.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. So, yeah. It's all part of it. But I want to welcome our newest listeners.
Okay.
We have Serenity from Palm Harbor. What a nice name, huh?
I like that.
Sandra from Safety Harbor and Amber from Pennsylvania.
Welcome, ladies.
And Amber said, I will be listening to the show today in 3 feet of snow.
Oh, I got to tell you something about the snow.
Yeah.
I saw it I think it was on the Today Show this morning.
Mm-hmm.
They had these little children up in Canada built a snowman. It was probably 2 feet tall. And they were videoing it. A white rabbit came up and on his haunches ate the carrot right out of the snowman.
No.
That he had no nose left. It was so, can you imagine that?
Yeah, I
The
can
video was so cute.
So before we get to our guests, I just wanted to say, caregivers always contacted me about different things and what can I do and what kind of things are out there to help my loved one. And this one woman said to me, every time she walks in the room, the TV is on so loud. She goes, I can't even sit in the room with my mom and watch the TV because she has it on so loud. It's like echoing through the house. Well, they have something called a rechargeable wireless TV speaker. And you can connect it to your television and put the speaker next to your loved one and only they hear it loud because it's right next to them.
That's fabulous.
It's not, yeah.
That is fabulous because they used to have earbuds that you could have, but they didn't like to have them in their ears.
Right.
So that's fabulous.
So, yeah. So you can look it up on Amazon. It's called rechargeable wireless TV speakers. And one of my caregivers got one. She said, oh, Linda, it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Wow.
So, and you know what? Just one little thing like that can change your whole day.
You got to do that on the Tuesday tip.
Yeah. On a Tuesday tip. Yes, tune in. You see, I've been doing Tuesday tips and holiday tips in between because we need a couple extra tips. I need all the tips I can get.
For sure.
So, Jessica, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here today. Jessica and I met a couple of weeks ago, and, my mom used to live in Freedom Square. So, I walked in there, and it's the holidays, and you see the decorations, and I was like, oh, like being home.
It's so beautiful.
Just like being home and seeing the pond and seeing the fountain, and it was just
Yeah.
Just lovely.
I was
Yeah.
telling Jessica that the people at the reception desk thought I was your mother's daughter also.
Yeah. Well, we told them that my mom's like George Foreman. He named all his kids George.
Because we're both
So it
Lindas.
was- because every day her and I would be bumping in and I mean, she would go up into my mother's place and put up curtains. We weren't even home. She liked it when we weren't there.
Right.
Yeah, I got some work done.
Yeah, exactly. So it was all good. So one of the things I'd like to, well, first of all, I want you to tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. I always say that my family, we don't raise children, we raise caregivers. And I started my caregiving journey as a candy striper in a nursing home. My mother was a med tech, and I actually helped both my parents get their GED and helped my mom get her med tech program.
Wow.
And went to work with my mom, and I just absolutely fell in love with the senior care setting and playing checkers and helping write letters.
Where was this?
That was in Kentucky. Yeah, I grew up in Appalachia.
I don't know. For some reason, I knew it wasn't here.
Yes, yeah. But I studied English in Minnesota, so
there you go.
that's why it doesn't
Minnesota.
sound like Appalachia. Yeah. And so I have been a caregiver for a number of people, but I had the great fortune of marrying an only child. So I've been caregiver for grandmother, grandfather, step-grandmother, step-grandfather, and it's been very interesting to see how everyone goes through that journey
Mhm.
and how, there's so many opportunities to get it right. And there's a few opportunities to not get it so right.
Yeah.
But it's been really cool to kind of see that from both sides.
Yeah.
So being
And you
in
learn something from every journey.
every journey. It's
Yeah.
just absolutely amazing.
And everybody's personality is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always find it's very funny when somebody says to me, "Oh, my dad's been a grouch his whole life, and now he has dementia. You think he's going to be a grouch?" Yeah, I think so.
I think it's going to get a little worse.
He's not going to forget.
There are very few that, who you are. Oh, excuse me. Do we have a caller on the line?
Yes, we do. We have Bernice wanting to wish us a Merry Christmas. Here.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, Merry Christmas from Canada, everybody. It's cold up here, hot down there, but we're sending warm wishes.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We wish you were here with us.
I was
Me
just talking
too.
about you, my friend.
I know.
Are you watching us?
I am.
Did you see my nice sweatshirt?
It's beautiful.
I
Your
know.
sweater and your hat.
I know.
Look so jolly.
She's
And
sassy.
I'm hoping you have a nice Christmas, even though we have to quarantine and stay safe. Next year, we can all be together.
Yes.
Good
Thank you so
idea.
much for calling in, sweetheart. We love you.
Okay, love you too. Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
A tip I gave a couple of weeks ago was I don't like the word social distancing. I feel like you're putting a gag in my mouth,
Right.
and that's not good for me. That's not good for me. I like the word physical distancing because that's what we're doing. We're physically distancing. We're not socially distancing. People are calling me more than ever did before. There are more Zooms and family stuff going on there than ever was before.
Absolutely.
So we need to watch our words. So anyway.
Yeah, our words build our world, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I walked into Freedom Square, and Freedom Square is, like I say, I feel like I'm back at home.
Yeah.
But I'd like to talk a little bit about what a life care community is, because I think a lot of our listeners don't understand that and don't know what their options are because all different communities are different.
Right. And there are so many options. And I've been all over this country and I've kind of checked out a lot of different things. One of the things I just absolutely love the life care community model. And what that means is you have all these options in one place. So we actually have a very large independent community for those who, they could live on their own. They just want to be more
Where
social.
my mom was.
Right.
Yeah.
They want to be more social. They want to have
You feel
activities.
safe.
Exactly.
And they don't want to make dinner.
Right. Exactly. So they want to have the option of just turning the key and enjoying life. And that's just such a cool opportunity
Yes, it
in an
is.
independent setting. And then when you need a little more help, many times we can offer that in independent living. But then there's the step up. You have assisted living. You have memory care if there are some memory issues. And then we have skilled nursing care. So for that short term, when you have a surgery or knee replacement or something like that, or for the long term if you need a lot of extra care. So you have lots of options all in one campus. You have the option of buying in and then having the same payment throughout, or there's a couple of different options with that. But it gives you the safety and security of having one decision that you and your caregivers feel comfortable with, and it lasts you the rest of your life.
Well, when we made the decision with my mom, so my mom moved into independent living, but we knew whatever the deal we cut, whatever it was, that my mom could stay there for the rest of her life on that campus. Whether maybe not the entire time in that apartment, but she wouldn't be going like far away. She'd be at places that were familiar. And if she ran out of money, she would still be there.
Absolutely.
And that was our biggest fear because, we didn't know my mother was going to die so quickly. We thought she was going to be there like 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
And I will say, since she didn't live that long, that a lot of the money we put down, they gave us back, because it was a short period of time, which was very understanding and very, very good. So
Right.
I think people need to know about that too.
For sure. And my husband's grandmother, actually, both of his grandmothers, I got them into a life care community in Ohio, and they went through the same process. And unfortunately, in January, his grandmother passed away at 98. She had been in that community since she was 73.
Wow.
Yeah.
25 years.
25 years. And so she went through the whole process. My child, who's now 20, had only known that community for her grandmother.
Right.
So it was just an absolutely beautiful. You could see, she kind of went into assisted living for a little while, got stronger, went back to independent living. So you have that, and you have familiar faces throughout the process. It's just such a cool model.
And the whole thing about people, even just going into independent living, is socialization.
Absolutely.
My mother had opportunities. She could play bingo if she wanted. She could go downstairs, or she could stay in her apartment if she wanted, or she could just hang with me all day, which she chose to do. But there was those options where before my mom moved here from New York, she was in a 3-story house, an English tutor on Long Island, sitting in one room.
Yeah.
And
worrying that the chimney was breaking and whatever.
And maybe she would go to church in the morning and then go through the drive-through Dairy Barn and get herself a donut and a coffee or something.
Right.
But then she stopped going to her church meetings. She stopped going to visit people.
And she couldn't drive as much anymore.
No. Well,
because I know that.
It was the year before my mom moved down here. She busted out 5 tires hitting curbs.
Oh, wow.
And my brother would call me, I gotta go get another tire, whatever. So when she moved down here, she's moving into Freedom Square, and there's transportation there, and I knew I was going to be with her every day. We gave her car away in New York. Yeah. We're done. And every day I would pick her up, and every day she would say, I wish I had a car, I wish I had a car, I wish I had a... I mean, I was taking her, it was nothing she needed a car for.
Yeah.
So finally I said, Mama, you know what we're going to do? We're going to rent a car next week. And you can drive the car around for a week. And if you feel really comfortable, we'll talk about getting your car, Mama. Well, it's like day 3. I go to pick her up at Freedom Square. She's still getting in the passenger seat. So I get in. The next time I pick her up, I get into the passenger seat. What? I go, Mom, we had the car like 3 days. We have it for a week. You need to drive the car.
Right.
Okay. And she gets behind the wheel, and we drive down the back roads to First Home Bank. We never even went on Seminole Boulevard. And we pull into the bank, and she takes the keys and she throws them at me and said, I'm done. You're my chauffeur.
And done. Yes.
And I bought the biggest ass car I could find because I didn't want to make it too easy.
Right.
Or if she did have an accident, but it was her decision.
Right. Absolutely.
The nice part about Freedom Square is so that you can walk right across to Seminole Mall.
Absolutely.
Especially now.
I remember there used to be an ice cream parlor. Is it still there? There used to be
No.
the ice cream parlor there, and that's where your mother liked to go.
The ice cream parlor and the theater.
Yes.
So we still have the theater.
Right.
There's actually a little yogurt stand. So there's a few things right there that's really cool to.
Oh, my mom
Check
would
out.
love it now because
Yeah.
that mall was starting to fall down when
Right.
she was there. But
Do you still have the hairdressing place? And
Right in the community.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
just amazed me. And there was a bank at one point.
There's a little bank, and there's the doctor's office right in the town center, and our little beautiful little Black Swan cafe. It's just such a cool little center.
It
Yeah.
is. It really is.
Feels like hometown for sure.
Mhm.
But Rita Mae Brown says, I just love this quote, happiness is pretty simple. It's something to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. And I just think that just embodies the whole life care plan community. Just something to love, something to do, and something to look forward
Yeah,
to.
something to do, a purpose.
Exactly.
A purpose.
I think looking forward is something you really need. That I do.
Absolutely.
You know,
We
yourself, you
have
used to
have
make a
hope.
trip every month just so you knew that was coming.
Yeah, I always love planning a vacation because I always got something to look forward to. This whole COVID thing has been tough with that.
It has been tough. With finding hope.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
You know, I have a friend of mine, Mama Rose. She's 95 years old. Her son, I know Rick very well. And she's just fascinating. She's had 9 kids. You know, I just love the heck out of her. And she still lives by herself. And somebody comes in the morning at lunch for breakfast, and somebody comes at lunch. And then he would be there every night. And like 8 o'clock, he would leave and go back home. And a couple of months ago, she started saying, do you have to leave? Like, could you stay? And he's like, I don't. So he said, and they have a whiteboard in the kitchen. Now, her nephew lives with her, but he works like 3 to 11 or whatever. So they had a whiteboard in the kitchen for her. One would say, John's coming for lunch, Mary's coming for breakfast, whatever. And then a whiteboard that she could write any messages on. And he said, I went over there this morning, and on the board, her name is Rose. It said, Rambling Rose, 3:30 a.m. Why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I still here? What do I, whatever. Maybe I could help ladies with children that cry at night.
Right.
So my heart was breaking. I said, okay, I'm coming to see her. So I go there and I saw her. It's probably about 6 weeks ago now. It started, I guess. And I said, Mama Rose, my husband just died, and I need to get my fire back. And I want to interview you about your life and whatever. Do you think we could do that? I said, and I have some projects that I'm working on, and I can't do it by myself, Mama Rose. Do you think you could help me? We need to send cards to the military. And I'm showing her pictures of my granddaughter in Germany with her husband and saying some boys. So she's making me like 15 cards a week. And I go there every Monday now for like an hour and a half. And it's Mondays with Mama Rose.
Right. That's amazing.
And you know what? She got her fire back, and I got my fire back.
Right. Yeah.
And this past week, she interviewed me. I didn't get
But she always did.
She does.
That's why she stayed so young, because she's so interested in everybody else.
Yeah, but that whole thing, that being social,
Yeah.
Right.
that talking to people, that
Exactly.
being interested. Somebody gave me a tip a while ago. I think it's so fabulous. So you go over to visit grandma or your neighbor or whoever it is, and they have Alzheimer's, dementia, they're just aging. What do you talk to them about? Oh, no idea. Well, if you just go online and print out some pictures, maybe Mama came from Brooklyn. Print out some pictures of Brooklyn. Maybe Mama was a Girl Scout leader, or maybe Dad was in the war or whatever. And you print out some of those pictures and you just keep them on the kitchen table. And then when someone comes in, they just pick one. And my one friend did that. Maureen did that with Brian, and she writes additional notes on the back.
Yeah.
Like the year he was in the service or whatever. How fabulous.
Right.
How fabulous. Because many times we're not talking to our people because we don't know what to say.
Right. Yeah. That's amazing. I love the connection. My mother-in-law lives with us. She's lived with us for about 5 years. She has very early stage Alzheimer's. And we always say she could connect with a stump. Like, honestly, she would talk to anybody and everybody, whether they have 2 legs, 4 legs, whatever. And when COVID hit, that was so difficult. We lost this connection. And it was so funny walking through the community. She would yell up to balconies, hey, what's going on? What's for dinner today? And it was just really cool to see that she was still trying really hard to complete those connections. But just like you said, it was a physical distance, but it definitely wasn't a social distance.
Right. I mean, we have choices with that.
For sure.
We definitely have choices with that. I mean, I'm doing my caregiver support groups via Zoom. I thought, I don't think I'm really going to like that. I like looking at somebody. I like that kind of thing. It's been wonderful. Now I have caregivers in the support groups from all over the United States and Canada that could never be on a support group before. Now some of them bring their loved ones on. We get to meet their loved ones. We say, like this week, why doesn't everybody bring their loved one on?
Right.
So I still look forward to the day that we're live again.
Right.
When I do my presentations now, they're via Zoom. Okay. I tell a joke, nobody laughs. I go, give yourselves a round of, thank you. I say, give yourselves a round of applause. Nobody claps. Right. I mean, the one Zoom, I made my grandson sit over there. So I would have a person.
Right.
But it's different, but it's okay.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
I'm glad that it's happening. I'm glad that we're still doing that. I'm glad that, families have, we have a family Zoom call every Sunday with my family, whoever can be on. Now, we didn't talk every Sunday before, all of us.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It's definitely been the year of the pivot. Every obstacle, we have to find a new pivot.
yeah. So, what are some of the last things our listeners need to hear about Freedom Square and the opportunities there and the great speakers you have?
We do. In fact, we have a great introductory event in January 27th.
At the Studio Movie Grill,
yes,
right?
Right next door at the Studio Movie Grill. I'm really excited about this because they've opened up, and we obviously will have physical distance. Yeah, and health, following our health protocols. But on Wednesday, January 27th at 11 a.m., we're going to provide lunch and just talk a little bit more in depth of just like what we talked about, and share some of our residents' stories. Residents are going to come and share what they have experienced.
Yeah, that's what you need to hear.
Exactly. So, especially with caregivers, we want to know that mom is going to be happy here and safe. And so hearing from other moms is a really powerful conversation for sure.
That's great. So how can people RSVP for that?
Great. Call me or my team, 727-398-0244, or visit freedomsquarefl.com.
Okay.
And we'll have
all this information will be on my website and be on the podcast. So please take advantage of that. If you're just curious, now's the time to go. Studio Movie Grill's really nice. Lunch. Plenty of room to sit.
Right. Yeah.
And I hear, aren't you having a speaker in May?
We are having a pretty wonderful speaker in May. Yeah. We have a full slate of very interesting and fun speakers. But in May, we have our wonderful Linda Burhands.
Woohoo! Back at Freedom Square! Yeah. So it's, thank you, Bobby. I tell you, I'm so grateful for Bobby. When COVID first started, so it's Bobby and me. That's it. No Lynn, no nothing. It's Bobby and me. And one of my sisters watches on YouTube and she goes, "Do you ever smile anymore?" And I go, "There's no one to smile to." So Bobby started entertaining me every week.
My phone, whatever.
Yeah, if I sing, he likes the lighter, whatever. So thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you. All right. Give the website again.
It's Freedom Square FL, as in Florida, freedomsquarefl.com.
And if anybody wants to come take a tour or meet you,
give us
they
a
must
call.
contact you through the website or give you a call, or you can contact me and I can hook you up.
Yep. And if you want to just drop us an email, it's life@freedomsquarefl.com. Life.
Easy
That's
enough.
where we find life, right?
Yes, I like that.
I do too.
All right, now it's time to hear from our wonderful sponsors, because you know the deal. If you don't hear from them, you don't hear from me. So
God
don't go away. We'll be
forbid.
right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
Tan Talk Radio Network.
Are you looking for compassionate and dependable home care for you or a loved one? Assisting Hands Home Care, serving Pinellas and Pasco counties, can help.
The day came that taking care of my mother was no longer the best thing for me or for her. Between kids and a job, I couldn't give her the attention she needed and deserved, and I was overwhelmed. So I reached out to Assisting Hands Home Care. Now I can see what an important decision that was, and I feel confident that my mother has compassionate and dependable caregivers who help her to stay happy, healthy, and home. Today, I'm able to visit with my mother and enjoy our time together, which is exactly what we both needed.
Assisting Hands Home Care. Call today for your free in-home consultation. In Pinellas, call 727-748-4211 or visit assistinghands.com. When you can't do it all, give Assisting Hands a call. Arden Courts is an assisted living facility designed to care for those that are struggling with dementia or Alzheimer's, where families and residents can feel the freedom with a nurse on site 24/7. Arden Courts provides specialized memory care in a safe and nurturing environment. They recognize every individual's physical, mental, and social needs and provide a secure environment that fosters independence for as long as possible. Walking paths, visual cues, and home-like amenities invoke a sense of freedom and independence. At Arden Courts, their goal is to make your loved one as comfortable, independent, and healthy as possible. They offer 10 hours a day of activities and programming with a unique setting of a home-like environment and 4 theme houses. It warms my heart to see how happy the residents are. Please call or stop in to talk with a representative. Arden Courts of Seminole at 727-517-7800, Largo 727-559-8411, or Palm Harbor 727-771-1600. Give them a call.
Is the fear of falling keeping you from doing the things you love? Do you suffer from diabetic neuropathy or plantar fasciitis? VoxLife can help. Whether you're caring for someone you love or being cared for, VoxLife wearable neurotech helps your body reach its full potential. Proven to reduce symptoms of diabetic neuropathy and plantar fasciitis, VoxLife also reduces the risk of falling in adults over the age of 55 by 8 times. VoxLife is a safe, simple, drug-free solution that optimizes your neurology. The biggest breakthrough in wellness in 50 years. VoxLife offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can't afford not to try it. To learn more about VoxLife, go to www.voxxlife.com/caregivers. That's www.voxxlife.com/caregivers. They help my parents and they can help yours too.
I see trees of green,
Red roses too.
I see them blue
For me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay, caregivers, now it's time for the caregiver affirmation. Take a minute, take a deep breath, sit down, close your eyes if possible, and just listen to these words. I know on my journey there is help and hope. I affirm that I am a good caregiver, that I try my best each day, and I recognize that I deserve to have my own needs met just as much as those for whom I care. I promise I will not allow myself to be consumed by my caregiving role, and I will set aside time in my busy schedule just for me. I am mindful of the other caregivers in my life, and I will let them know that I appreciate their efforts. I am grateful for the people that walk beside me. I will take good care of my own health physically and spiritually, drink enough water, eat quality foods, allow for time to rest and to exercise, laugh often, if only at myself, and seek medical attention for my own health concerns. I am who I am, and I allow others to be who they are. Today I will add one item to my assisting angels list, that if someone calls to say, let me know if there's something I can do, I will be ready to accept their offer and provide them with the opportunity to assist me. It is an honor to be of service of others, and I will not deny my friends and family this honor. Okay, think about it, caregivers.
So now more than ever, caregivers, you really need to take care of yourselves. And one of the things, that affirmation that said about taking care of your own health. So a couple of weeks ago, one of my caregivers had a heart attack because they didn't take care of themselves, because they let the stress push and push and push. And now it's a really difficult situation for both the caregiver and his loved one. So please think about that. And maybe it's just saying to your neighbor, can you just come over and hang out for an hour? And don't say, can you come over and hang out for an hour someday? Could you come over on Tuesday and hang out for an hour? And I bet you so many times people are going to say, yes, I want to do that. And many times, and you've heard me say this before, your loved one is sitting there going, please go away. Please let somebody else come and see me for a little while. One of my caregivers recently just hired a college student, and he comes over 3 days a week for 3 hours and plays chess with her husband. The kid's like, I get paid $8 an hour to play chess. How great is that? But she gets 9 hours of respite from that. So there's definitely different ways to figure it out. So Dan, I'm so glad to see you today.
It's been a while.
It's been forever.
It's been a long time since I've been in the studio.
Forever, especially in this studio.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you. So Dan, also, you tell them about your show.
Well, I do a podcast. I'm going to start in 2021 going live on, like you do, Facebook, YouTube. I got some new software I'm going to be going, but it's a weekly show called Dolphin Financial Radio, which is basically a catch-all for financial issues people face. I'm a certified financial planner, so I cover the gamut, and we try and keep it fun. Tony and I have a good time on the show, so it's not boring. We're not talking about investing all the time. We do talk about a lot of stuff. One of the shows we did recently was how financial stress causes physical deterioration.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And so in your affirmation, you're talking about taking care of yourself, health-wise, spiritually. I would add financially, but not just because you want to have more money. It's not about money, as you know. All the money in the world can't help you sometimes when it comes to caregiving.
Makes it easier.
But it makes life a little easier and less stressful. That stress that people carry because their finances are in order just makes them deteriorate health-wise, and that's avoidable.
Yeah.
It's avoidable.
Yeah, and it's so avoidable, and it's like a dirty word. Nobody wants to talk about that stuff. It's just like nobody wants to talk about cremation. Nobody wants to talk about end-of-life stuff. Nobody wants to talk about maybe mom might have to go into a nursing home, or I don't know. I just said to you before the show, yay, this year all my credit cards are going to be paid off. That's a big damn deal for me.
Absolutely. Paying off debt, there's more to it than I had this conversation with a couple of people recently. Should I pay off my debt or should I invest in the stock market? I can make so much more in the stock market, but my loan is only 2% on the auto, right? And I say to them, yeah, the numbers might say you can make 6% over here and you only owe 2% here. But the feeling that you get when you don't have any debt is worth something. Not financially, but it's tough to quantify that. So people just kind of say, oh, well, I guess it might be nice. But when you do, you're going to celebrate. You're going to feel good.
It feels so good.
And you're going to feel like a little weight off your shoulders.
Well, it's funny. After I paid up the first one, every couple of days, I just checked it on the internet. I just wanted to see zero.
Right.
I just went, oh my goodness, did that really happen? Did I really do that?
Now, the key is to keep it at zero if you can.
Well, then it was good too, because this week I had a little financial thing that I needed to take care of, and it was like $500. So one of those cards was zero, and I put it on it. But I know I'll still be able to pay it off by the end of the year. And that's okay if everything's paid off and I need it because something happened.
Right. The credit card companies are making a killing off of people. And we think it's convenient, which because it is. But
because everything's touched today.
It's like loan sharks.
But right. And
I've never heard 29%.
It's up to I think they raised it. They lowered it. Now they raised it. I know clients that have credit cards at 24%. That's crazy.
Whoa, you know what's really crazy? When you look at the statement, it says, if you pay the minimum payment, you owe $600. If you pay the minimum payment, it'll be paid off in 3 years.
And it'll be $4,000 that you paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, controlling the spending is a big issue for a lot of people. And I focus on retirement planning. So people leading, how do I get there? How do I retire in 10 years? I would rather have a client come to me or a couple come to me with $200,000 to their name, but in total control of their spending, versus a couple coming to me with $2 million in the bank saying, we can't control our spending.
Yeah.
It's counterintuitive, but I'd rather work with someone that can control their spending because it makes my life easier and they're going to be better off in retirement. Because you could have $2 million in the bank, but if you're spending $300,000 a year, you'll be out of money soon. Right. And there's nothing I could do as an advisor to stop that besides control your spending, which most people don't want to hear. They just don't want to deal with
nobody
that.
wants to hear about controlling their spending, do they?
Well, we have something to say about that, Lynn. I think we do.
Just listening.
Well, I tell you what, you can listen and you can read. I gave you a book, and it's got a strategy for you.
Yeah, so tell us about the book.
So
The
we just wrote
Spending
it.
Window.
Yes, a friend of mine. We've been batting around for years. It's called the Spending Window, and it's designed to help people with control their spending. And instead of the traditional budgeting that everyone hates, budgeting is another 4-letter word. It's like, let's talk about cremation. No, I'd rather talk about budgeting. Well, no, let's talk about cremation.
Let's go shopping.
Right. So we don't want to talk about budgeting in the traditional sense, and we don't like telling people what to spend their money on. There's plenty of people that do that all day. Buy a used car instead of a new. Don't go shopping here. Go online. That's not what this book is about. It's a different take on controlling spending, becoming mindful, and we base it off of intermittent fasting. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Intermittent fasting came about as a means to tackle obesity. I've read this book called The Obesity Code by Dr. Fung in Canada, and it's brilliant. He used to treat people with insulin. He's a nephrologist to treat diabetes. And he wasn't getting anywhere, just like no one is in this country or the world. And he came up with this system where you can fast and control your eating to not what you eat, but when you eat. And it totally revolutionized the way he treats obesity and diabetes, and it's working without insulin. So I was talking to my friend who co-authored it with me. He's a doctor, and he said to me, can you use this intermittent fasting to your profession? And I said, well, let's think about it. And we thought about it, and we created the intermittent spending strategy. So it's intermittent fasting for your wallet. So instead of worrying about what you're spending money on, you worry about when you spend it. So you create these time-restricted windows. Right. So you find out later.
Just at the store.
Right. You could say, I'm not going to spend Saturdays at noon. That's cheating because you know you're here. But if you said Friday nights, I'm not going to spend any money.
Right.
Try it for a month. You might totally revolutionize the way you approach
That's interesting.
spending.
Yeah.
And it's easy because my mom used to be on Weight Watchers. She used to count calories and points. Horrible. Never worked. Right. And I don't like doing that. Oh, let me count the calories. It's embarrassing. It's tough. It's really, really difficult. But if I say I'm not going to eat from 5 p.m. till 5 a.m. every day, I could deal with that because in my mind, it's easier to do.
Right.
And then when the lunch comes around and I want to eat a slice of pizza, I'm not going to beat myself up.
Right. I know somebody that lost a ton of weight, just stopped eating after 5 p.m.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
I'm making the case that you can save a ton of money by just stopping spending certain windows. That's why it's called the spending window. You create a window when you spend money, and outside that window, you spend no money. So
all right. So give me an example of creating a window.
An easy one to start would be every other day. So you don't spend a dime on Mondays. So Monday, you don't spend a dime. So what will happen is you're used to going to get your latte in the morning. I know you
Not me, but
I know. But you go there and you say, I'm going to get and it's Monday and you can't spend. And now you're saying, wait, I can't buy that bottle of wine today. And
I buy it the day before and stock up.
But now you're planning. But now you're thinking ahead and you're basically budgeting and you're thinking, all right, I got to get a case of wine on Sundays.
But does that mean I'm going to save money?
Well, not necessarily, but what's going to do is you're going to be more mindful of your spending. And that's what you're trying to do.
I got you.
So it's not.
COVID has helped me because I can't go out.
There's a chapter in the book on COVID, how it's totally changed the way people approach money.
Oh, yeah.
You would think people are going to, they're home, they're going to, spend money online. What happened was the opposite. People stopped spending. And they started.
Save some.
You saved money, right? And the stimulus check went in people's pockets and they weren't spending it. So they got all this money and they said, well, a lot of people use it to pay rent or because they didn't have jobs. But for the people that were still working, they're like, what do I do with this? They don't go out. They don't sit. They don't spend.
Right.
So I think that has jump-started a lot of people's spending behavior, hopefully for the better. But
and like so many people stopped going out to dinner, and so many people stopped doing this, and then they were realizing, you know what? I can still have a nice Friday night at home.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I bought the frozen pizza the day before. We can still have pizza night on Friday night.
Right.
And maybe we don't need to get it from the place.
Right.
Or maybe we can just make it together.
Maybe I could do a spending fast or close my spending window for the weekend and not spend a dime on the weekend and just try it out. And you might say, whoa, that's interesting. I didn't know I was spending so much over here or there. And now I'll eat my pantry because I have all this food what am I waiting for? Let's clean it out. Right.
Well, that was part of the stuff with the credit cards. I had to say, okay, I'm not going to spend any money like this week. Try not to spend any money for a week and
see what happens.
It was just fine.
See, I don't do credit cards.
Yeah,
except if I have to. If I can't pay for it, I don't buy
You don't get it.
That's the mentality. So that's the mentality, and that's not going to change. So when someone's like that throughout life and then they go to retire, they're not just going to start spending crazy. It's funny how that happens. People are like, I saving, and then when I retire, I'm going to spend a lot. No, that's how you grew up. That's what you're going to do. So if you don't have control of your spending, nothing's going to change when you retire. You might even spend more. So you got to get control of that, and then everything's easier.
Well, it's very interesting what Mark Vernick, he's a friend of mine, a financial advisor, was on a show a couple of weeks, and he said the people that need to worry the least worry the most,
right?
and vice versa.
Right.
So that's her and I, It's like, but it's true.
Yeah, I worry. I'm a terrible worrier about
Me, I'm like, God brought me here today. I'm still here, and my credit card bills are paid.
Right? It's something
But
to celebrate.
I don't want to end up. I knew my mother-in-law, ex-mother-in-law, like she ended up on the street in New York.
Yeah.
That's just frightening. I said, and I even said this when I was like in my 20s. I said, I'm moving to Florida because at least if I'm
On the
homeless,
street.
I'm outside.
Yeah, it's warmer. I never understood. I lived in Minneapolis. I said, how are the people homeless here? You know,
Exactly.
What are they, snowbirds? They're homeless down in Florida?
Exactly.
It's crazy. But
It is crazy.
But being scared, being nervous, my mom was the same way. She was always a worrywart. And so growing up, you know, like I used to say, hey, Ma, I won the lotto. How much did you win? I won 10 million. She's like, that's before taxes. I'm like, that's the first thing you could say? Congratulations. No, now you got to pay taxes.
My mind would have gone there.
Well, what
like,
is that? That's not
you bet half you won.
Right.
You won 5.
Big deal.
It's still good.
Right.
Still good.
Right. Now she's like, now you're going to have people calling you. Now your brothers are going to want some of that. Now you're going to. That's the way it is, but that's just your mentality. But people approach spending in different ways. The idea is there's tons of books on there. There's tons of people saying, don't do this, don't do that. The spending window is trying to make it easy because people don't want to budget. Yeah. People don't want to sit there and say, I'm going to spend $2,000 this month and this much on food, this much. It works for a lot of people. If you could do it, that's great. But for most people, they're like,
Yeah.
But if I said, I'm not going to spend on Thursdays and Tuesdays.
That makes really
I can
good
imagine
sense.
my daughter, if she stopped spending money 2 days a week.
Yeah, because she's one of the, I'm not one to go in and buy little
she's
stuff.
one to buy lunch or just pick that extra thing up in the store. The kid needs an extra thing the kid doesn't really need.
I'm just a
that kind of stuff. And then the end of the month comes and she's like,
Right. So if she just tried it for a couple of weeks and you want to try it for a month.
Mondays or Tuesdays or whatever, right?
But it's not going to necessarily save her because maybe she'll overspend the other days. That's what the big complaint is. Oh, you're just going to overspend the other days. But what it's going to do is going to get you to think differently. It's going to disrupt your behavior and maybe you can make a change. That's the idea behind it.
Well, I'll tell you, my grandson, so he's 16 and a half. He's working. He's making some nice money, going to school, whatever. And so his account is attached to mine. So I get to see what he spends. I really don't want to.
That's how your credit cards are paid off. There it is.
I wish.
Must be nice.
But I see it's Chick-fil-A, it's Best, blah, blah. And I go, damn, he spent like $200 on a credit card on fast food or something like that. It's crazy what people do.
They don't realize it because it's easy.
Well, because the credit card's so easy. I remember years ago when they first started like taking credit cards at McDonald's. I said, I would never buy something on a credit. And I think maybe once or twice I have, but that's a bad thing to do.
Well, remember how I used to write checks? I don't see checks anymore.
Oh, I miss that.
Right?
I like
sitting in line at the grocery store, the person in front of you is writing a check. Now you're angry. It's like, come on, I got to go somewhere.
Yeah. Now it's just like beep.
Right.
Beep.
So it's so easy. So people, it's mindless. It's mindless.
That's
spending.
what it is.
So the
It's
book is
mindless
designed to create more mindfulness. And it's just a way to really disrupt it. And the idea is that you're not going to revolutionize what you're spending on, because that's a different topic. You know, if you're going fast food every day, he's got other issues that they're health-wise, right? But he's not going to all of a sudden say, well, now I'm going to eat healthy. No, he's going to say, well, on Tuesdays, I can't use my credit card. I can't spend. What am I going to do?
Well, maybe I'll bring lunch to work.
Maybe I'll make lunch. And that alone can change his life.
Right.
But it takes that disruption to make people think that way.
Well, I just want to try to help him learn the best he can at a young age and how to go forward.
If you could start earlier, the better.
Anything you can start earlier.
Yeah, it's true.
It makes a whole big difference. Okay, time to hear from our wonderful sponsors. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Choosing the right chiropractor is an important choice to make. Located in Seminole, the Alexander Spine Center team is trained on the latest chiropractic treatments and technologies. At Alexander Spine Center, you'll find chiropractic and physical therapy care that is safe, effective, and a natural approach to pain and other health-related issues. Chiropractic unlocks your body's potential and natural healing process to ensure your life is a healthy life. We treat clients from the womb to the tomb. Call 727-397-3000 for a free consultation today, or visit our website at www.alexanderspinecenter.com.
They take good care of me twice a week. And did you know they got the Reader's Choice Award for 2019 for the best chiropractic in Pinellas County? So check them out. Arden Courts is an assisted living facility designed to care for those that are struggling with dementia or Alzheimer's, where families and residents can feel the freedom with a nurse on site 24/7. Arden Courts provides specialized memory care in a safe and nurturing environment. They recognize every individual's physical, mental, and social needs and provide a secure environment that fosters independence for as long as possible. Walking paths, visual cues, and home-like amenities invoke a sense of freedom and independence. At Arden Courts, their goal is to make your loved one as comfortable, independent, and healthy as possible. They offer 10 hours a day of activities and programming with a unique setting of a home-like environment and 4 theme houses. It warms my heart to see how happy the residents are. Please call or stop in to talk with a representative. Arden Courts of Seminole at 727-517-7800, Largo 727-559-8411, or Palm Harbor 727-771-1600. Give them a call.
Guaranteed to make you laugh through your tears, Linda Burhan's book, Good Night and God Bless, is filled with humor and heartfelt inspiration to aid anyone facing the challenge of caring for a loved one at the end of life. Her story offers hope for human strength and understanding of weaknesses during a difficult time. Life doesn't normally prepare us to become a loved one's caregiver. When it happens, it's usually sudden. A diagnosis of an illness, age-related frailty, dementia, and life suddenly is anything but normal. And because we don't even know what we don't know, where do we turn to for help or guidance? In Connecting Caregivers, Answers to the Questions You Didn't Know You Needed to Ask, Linda offers information, education, and inspiration from her own experience and from experts whose advice, practical tools, and personal stories will empower and guide you. Make sure to add these inspiring books to your collection today. Available on Amazon.com.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
I almost lost my pom-pom there. You know what that means? It's time to get your paper and pen because Lynn's got good stuff to tell you. Not too much, but some stuff.
It's all about you, honey.
Yeah, it's all
about you. Linda's doing some Zoom webinars, and you go to lindaburhans.com, and then she'll give you all the links because they're too long to give you here. But she's doing one called Gratitude and Journaling, Reduced Caregiver Stress. It's a 3-part one, and it starts Monday, January 11th, then the 18th, and then the 25th at 11 a.m.
And you can come to one or all, so I don't think you have to come to all of them.
Oh, that's good to know. And then also she's doing one, the Dementia Dance, When to Lead and When to Follow. And that's Tuesday, January 19th at 11 a.m. And then also You, Me, and Dementia.
Is going to be rescheduled for February.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be another presentation.
So don't come in January.
No, don't come in January. But
good.
Just know with the journaling workshop, you can come to any parts. Everyone who pre-registers, Arden Courts will mail you a beautiful journal or drop a beautiful journal off at your house. And the Dementia Dance, When to Lead and When to Follow, because sometimes it's a waltz, but most of the times it's a jitterbug. So we can talk about that too. I want to, because I forgot to do this earlier, but Bobby's on the phone, so we don't he's on the phone. So Lynn got an email from the Largo Police Department, said that they're experiencing an increase in scams where the victim gets a phone call saying the loved one, a kid or a grandkid, was arrested for a DUI or a manslaughter crash. So the whole thing is, don't send any money.
And they're usually in Canada. No, I'm serious. It's usually your son's in a prison in Canada and he needs bail money.
And you're like,
afraid of Canada.
Yeah. So don't send any money to anybody. Hang up. Call your local police department. There's so much fear going on with COVID and everything that these scammers are just feeding into your
One of my
fear
neighbors
factor.
Got caught up in that.
And Duke Energy sent me a whole thing too. They're having a whole thing, same thing. People calling up saying, if you don't send me some money right now, your electricity is going to be off in 5 minutes. And if you're like really scared, you're going to just go and pay it, thinking maybe I didn't pay it, or maybe
They
whatever.
get enough.
So we're going to get ready to hear my cousin song, Pete Camp, You and the Christmas Tree. He is 20 years old, wrote the song, sings the song, and plays all 5 instruments from Massapequa, Long Island.
And he's fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah, Christmas is that time of year when all the little boys and girls, they start to cheer. Cause they know that Santa is coming to town, but that don't matter when you're around. And I know that ice and the snow. And I know that if you ever need me, you know that I will be sitting by the fireplace late at night, knowing that together it'll all be alright. And I'll be piling up the blankets on our favorite chair, counting down the seconds till you make it here. That just about sums it up for me. I just need you and the Christmas tree. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So go get that song on Spotify and Apple iTunes and wherever you get it. You and the Christmas Tree. It's just fabulous. I love it. It's a new song, and it's just very exciting. So, Dan, what's the last thing you'd like to say to our listeners?
Well, if you're thinking about the holidays and spending and how much you lost out of your wallet on Black Friday, pick up the book. It's called The Spending Window, and you can go to the website spendingwindow.com. And if you call me or email me on that website and say I'm a friend of Linda, I'll send you a free copy of the book. How's that?
Woo!
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Thank you.
My Christmas list is complete.
Jessica, what's the last thing you want to say?
Well, I'd like to welcome family and friends to our Studio Movie Grill event on January 27th. Check us out at freedomsquarefl.com or give us a call at 727-398-0244. Thank you.
Thank you both for being here today. I really appreciate it. And you, as always, my friend. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You know, there's always room around the caregiving table for more listeners, whether it's live when the show is live or it's podcasts or it's on Apple iTunes or Facebook or wherever. I know it's not easy for you to always tune in. Grab a Tuesday tip. They're only like 2 minutes, can give you a little info. Remember, God loves you all the time, and have a delicious day.
Oh, nothing's going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call